Black Sea, 1853. The year marks a pivotal moment in history, a time when the world teetered on the brink of monumental change. The Black Sea, a body of water steeped in history and conflict, becomes the stage for a dramatic confrontation. Waves crash against the shore, their relentless force a mirror to the turbulent times. The sea, restless and wild, seems to sense the impending chaos, its waves a prelude to the storm brewing in the east. The air is thick with anticipation, the horizon darkened by ominous clouds, a restless prelude to the storm brewing in the east. The sky, once clear and calm, now churns with dark, foreboding clouds. Nature itself seems to echo the unrest of nations, the brewing storm a harbinger of the conflict to come. The tension is palpable, a silent whisper of the chaos that lies ahead. Tsar Nicholas I, Russia's iron ruler, eyes the crumbling Ottoman Empire. His gaze is fixed on Constantinople, the jewel of the East, a city of immense strategic importance. For Nicholas, control of Constantinople means dominance over the Black Sea and a gateway to the Mediterranean. His ambitions are vast, his resolve unyielding. He seeks control of Constantinople, the gateway to the Mediterranean. The city, with its rich history and strategic location, is a prize coveted by many. For centuries it has been a crossroads of civilizations, a melting pot of cultures and religions. Now it stands at the center of a geopolitical struggle, its fate hanging in the balance. But Britain and France stand in his way, their own empires at stake. The two great powers, wary of Russian expansion, are determined to protect their interests. Diplomacy falters, suspicion festers. The delicate balance of power is threatened, and the specter of war looms large. The leaders of Britain and France, aware of the stakes, prepare for the inevitable conflict. The air crackles with tension. Across Europe, the mood is one of unease and apprehension. People sense the coming storm, their faces etched with worry. Soldiers prepare for battle, their minds steeled for the trials ahead. The world holds its breath, waiting for the first shot to be fired. War, like a distant drumbeat, grows louder. The sound of marching soldiers, the beat of war drums, the distant rumble of advancing armies, all signal the approach of conflict. The stage is set, the players ready. The storm clouds gather, and the world braces for the tempest to come. Europe erupts. Alliances solidify. Britain, France, and the Ottoman Empire unite against Russia. The Crimean Peninsula becomes the battleground. Soldiers, farmers, and shopkeepers, transformed into warriors, march towards a destiny shrouded in smoke and gunpowder. Each man carries with him the hopes and fears of a continent teetering on the precipice. The Crimean sun beats down on a labyrinth of trenches. Mud, thick and unforgiving, clings to everything. The air, heavy with the stench of sweat, fear, and death, chokes the soldiers. Days blur into weeks, weeks into months. Boredom is a cruel companion, punctuated by moments of sheer terror. Letters from home filled with longing and innocence offer fleeting solace. October 25, 1854. The Light Brigade, 600 horsemen strong, receive their orders, a fatal miscommunication. They charge, a magnificent, terrible spectacle, into the teeth of Russian guns. Cannon fire rips through their ranks. Horses and riders fall, swallowed by the smoke and the screams. Courage undimmed, they reach the enemy lines, a testament to bravery and sacrifice. Few return. The legend of their charge echoes through history. Amidst the carnage, a beacon of hope emerges. Florence Nightingale, a woman of unwavering conviction, arrives in Scutari. The hospital, overwhelmed with the wounded, is a vision of hell. Disease runs rampant. Nightingale, with her lamp and her compassion, brings order to the chaos. She revolutionizes hygiene, introduces sanitation, and provides comfort to the dying. She becomes a symbol of hope, her name whispered with reverence by grateful soldiers. The Crimean War ends in 1856. Russia, defeated, withdraws. The conflict, which had raged for 3 long years, saw the might of the Russian Empire clash with an alliance of the Ottoman Empire, France, Britain, and Sardinia. The war was fought over control of the Black Sea and the territories surrounding it, a strategic region that held immense geopolitical significance. The defeat was a significant blow to Russian ambitions and marked a turning point in European power dynamics. The Treaty of Paris redraws the map of Europe. This treaty, signed in March of 1856, brought an end to the hostilities and sought to establish a new balance of power on the continent. The terms of the treaty were harsh for Russia, which had to relinquish its claims to the territories it had fought so hard to control. The Black Sea was declared neutral, and the fortifications along its coast were to be dismantled. This redrawing of borders and the imposition of new rules aimed to prevent future conflicts and maintain peace in the region. But the cost of victory is etched on the faces of the survivors. The soldiers who returned home bore the physical and emotional scars of the brutal conflict. Many had witnessed unimaginable horrors on the battlefield, and the memories of those experiences would haunt them for the rest of their lives. The war had taken a heavy toll on the human spirit, leaving behind a generation of men who had been forever changed by what they had endured. The war, a brutal and costly affair, leaves behind a legacy of shattered lives and broken dreams. Entire villages were destroyed and countless families were torn apart by the conflict. The civilian population suffered immensely, with many losing their homes, their loved ones, and their livelihoods. The scars left by the war were not just physical but also deeply emotional, affecting the psyche of the people and the fabric of society. The aftermath of the war saw a period of rebuilding and recovery, but the memories of the devastation lingered on. It also ushers in an era of modern warfare with new technologies and tactics that will forever change the face of battle. The Crimean War saw the introduction of rifled muskets, ironclad warships, and the use of railways for troop movements, all of which revolutionized military strategy and logistics. These innovations set the stage for future conflicts, where technology would play an increasingly crucial role in determining the outcomes of battles. The lessons learned from the Crimean War would influence military thinking for decades to come, shaping the way wars were fought and won in the modern era. The Crimean War, a distant echo now, reminds us of the human cost of conflict. It was a war fought from 1853 to 1856, involving major powers like the Ottoman Empire, Russia, Britain, and France. The war was marked by its brutal battles and the harsh conditions faced by soldiers on both sides. The Crimean War is often remembered for the siege of Sevastopol, the charge of the Light Brigade, and the pioneering work of Florence Nightingale, who laid the foundations for modern nursing. The bravery of the soldiers who faced unimaginable hardships cannot be overstated. They fought in freezing temperatures with inadequate supplies and under constant threat of enemy fire. Many soldiers showed extraordinary courage, charging into battle despite the overwhelming odds. Their stories of valor and sacrifice are a testament to the human spirit's resilience and determination. The compassion of the nurses who tended to the wounded and dying was equally remarkable. Florence Nightingale and her team of nurses worked tirelessly to improve the conditions in the military hospitals. They introduced hygiene practices that drastically reduced the mortality rate among the wounded. These nurses not only provided medical care, but also offered comfort and hope to those in their darkest hours. The folly of war itself is evident in the devastation left behind. The Crimean War resulted in significant loss of life and widespread destruction. Entire landscapes were scarred by the conflict, and countless families were left to mourn their loved ones. The war highlighted the senselessness of such violence and the profound impact it has on both the victors and the vanquished. Their stories, etched in stone and verse, serve as a solemn reminder. War memorials and poetry capture the essence of their experiences, ensuring that future generations remember the sacrifices made. These memorials stand as silent witnesses to the bravery, suffering, and loss endured by those who lived through the conflict. They remind us of the importance of remembering and honoring the past, a reminder to strive for peace, to seek diplomatic solutions over armed conflict. The lessons learned from the Crimean War emphasize the need for dialogue and understanding between nations. Peace rallies and remembrance ceremonies serve as powerful symbols of our collective desire to avoid the horrors of war and to build a more harmonious world. To learn from the mistakes of the past, we must study history and reflect on the consequences of our actions. The post-war reconstruction efforts and the signing of peace treaties are testaments to humanity's ability to rebuild and reconcile. By acknowledging our past errors, we can work towards a future where conflicts are resolved through cooperation and mutual respect, and to honor the sacrifices of those who came before us, lest we forget. The poppy, a symbol of remembrance, reminds us of the bloodshed and the lives lost. Remembrance ceremonies with veterans pay tribute to the courage and dedication of those who served. By honoring their memory, we ensure that their sacrifices are never forgotten and that their legacy continues to inspire future generations.